It has to be insanity when you keep on applying and getting yourself into jobs when you just don't want to be there. You want to be somewhere else. And I wanted to make this post this morning. So I've got a quick clip to share with you guys so you can understand the reason why I came up with this clip. But I feel two ways about it. But I want to ask you how you feel about it. But let's just listen to the clip first and get into it.
It has to be called insanity when you go and apply for a job that you don't even want in the first place. You send out your CV to all these jobs, and whilst you're sending the CV, you're thinking, I don't even want the damn job. Cool, you get an interview. You go to the interview and you're on point. You're dressed to impress, your hair is right, you smell good, you got your smiley face on. You're not even that happy, but your smiley face is on. And you go to the job, and you tell them how bad do you want this job and why you're so suitable for this job and that you're the right person to choose because you're so passionate about this job that you must be the person they employ. But these times you don't even want the job.
What?
Has to be insanity. To wake up early morning when you don't like to leave your bed early morning has to be called insanity. Then to go in the morning and say, hi Martha, how you doing? How's the kids? You don't care about Martha's kids. The reality is you really don't care about Martha's kids, you know. That's her kids to care about. It's not your kids to care about. Oh,
Kind of a point.
Don't even drink tea. Don't even drink tea. Someone makes a shit joke and nothing's funny. Absolutely nothing is funny. And then when you try to leave, when your time is up, you finish, it's time to go home. Someone's trying to talk to you for extra conversation to keep you there at work. No, let me go. I want to leave. I don't even want to be here. Let me go. It has to be called insanity to go and do that. Do you know when working died? Working was finished from the time that we started to see people make big money from having fun. From the very moment people started making big money from having fun and enjoying their life, that's when working was done. It has.
That's the reason I wanted to make this clip, yeah? Because when I think about work, I don't think about it as insanity. Myself, personally, there's a part of me which enjoys what I do. And I know that I'm part of a few people when it comes to what they do and liking it and just like enjoying wanting to be out there, right? But he's got a point, and we can't run away from the point. The point is that everything did change when we realised other people were making big money out of fun things, what they like to do in life. And you had to do the normal things, which, if you're in a westernized world, we do as normal, right? Which is working, paying for your life. And that made me say, you know what? I've been in a few jobs where I knew I wasn't going to stay there for a long time. So I wasn't invested. I wasn't concentrated on about being there because I knew it was temporary. But me knowing it was temporary, it didn't allow me to have this I don't want to talk to people vibe. I'm not gonna be plausible. I'm not gonna be friendly. I'm not gonna. Of course I was. I've got no reason not to. Like, unless somebody's ticked me off to the point where you get to. But I'm not like that. I don't need to be like that. You know, I'm coming out. I'm earning money, and we're just here, innit? You know, you might not be in the best of moods, but you sure can be pleasant to others. If someone asks you if you want a cup of tea, there's nothing wrong with me saying, I'll make you a cup of tea, you know. I'm not a tea person, but I'll make you one. Sure, no problem, man. Kills a bit of time. Don't ask me nothing for the next 25 to half an hour because I've just made you a cup of tea. But I'm not a tea boy. Yeah, so I'm not going to be running around after people. And I get that as a thing. But my point was that me growing up, yeah, I'm an 80s baby. So the time of me growing up, £500 was what 1,500 could do today. We've seen value and prices, properties, money, deals go sky high. And even like with like the lottery, everybody wants to be a winner, innit? Just keep it real. Like I said to someone the other day, if you won 650,000, yeah, would you like knock the work on the head? Would you knock it out and all that? And they was older than me, and they said no, they wouldn't, because they wouldn't want to let down the other people. I get it. It's not £1,000,000. It's not. It's life changing if you make the right decisions. 100%. 600, 500,000, anything over 500,000 could definitely put you in a position. But it's what you do with it at the end of the day, right? And it made me sit back, because I said, right, we've got different goals. My goal is to get this bread. It's not to do this all the time. Everything has a life cycle, me included. I'm no different to being like anybody else who's trying to get somewhere in life, but will be willing to sacrifice certain things, which might be, I sacrifice my social life a lot for work. I sacrifice where I am in life to be able to have a strong foundation. But let me just talk about jobs which I've been at, which I know have just like no prospects, but I'm still there. So there was my first ever job when I left my apprenticeship, yeah, which I worked for UCL, University College of London. And I was getting paid a lot more money than what I was when I was an apprentice. But there were so many plumbers there. There was like plumbers, heating engineers, electricians, and like some carpenters or something like that. And fabric people, sorry. And there's like about 30 guys here. I'm the youngest person there. And I'm thinking, do I want to stay around all these old men all the time? Like, how am I going to start to get a look in on being the top dog when I've got to wait for all of these people who have had 10, 15, 20, 30 years of doing their job, and they're at a place of like more responsibility than me just because of my age. They're always going to get picked over me. I'm going to have to leave this place, because they'll always see me as the little boy, the little young person. Even if I grow, still going to be that young person in the room. So I can't really get away from that factor, can I? So I thought to myself, not really interested in this job that much. So therefore, I still went in, I still done all my jobs. One thing with me, yeah, is that I don't let my work slack and people say that you don't know what you're doing. Even at that age, when I was like 19, I didn't let people say that to me. Because I used to do a high standard of work when I was working with my plumbers who I used to start my apprenticeship with. So I kind of knew the flow of work, and I kind of picked up on, let me at least minimum do like 8 jobs a day. So, you know, the job sheet's what you get if you know what I mean. And it led me to the point of saying to myself, how long can I do this for, man? How long can I do this like dead end job in my mind? because all I'm thinking about is payday. And every time I'm thinking about payday, I'm just thinking about blowing some money. That's all I can think about. At that present time when I'm 19, I'm not thinking about saving any money. I'm not thinking about any rainy days. I'm not thinking about investing within myself. I'm just thinking about this job is just not somewhere where I want to be at all. Like, why do I have to be here? But I know I have to be here because I've got bills to pay, obviously, innit? But at this time, it's like, what time would this been? This would have been 2006, 2005, maybe. Internet was taking off. The internet was booming. I didn't really know a lot about the internet at them times because I wasn't obviously posted on social media. I don't have a social media then, I don't think. Maybe I did. Maybe I had a Facebook or something. But I didn't use it the way I would be using it today to share my experiences and connect with people. I wasn't at all. But it's just a reminder for you to subscribe as well. You need to subscribe. And thank you for my people in Birmingham locking in as well. Right. So at this point, yeah, I said to myself, you know what? I'm in this work. I'm making more money than what I was making in my apprenticeship, which is great. It's encouraging for me, but I just don't see it getting to a point where I could be higher up, where I could earn more money. Because I had a supervisor who was at this same job for 40 years. And when he told me 40 years, I looked at him and I said, what the 40? How old are you, man? How old are you? When did you come here? When you was like 16, 15. But he had been here them times. He was 55, obviously. But it led me to really understand that when my plumber, who I used to work with, a guy called Jack, told me, look, mate, you got a job for life at being a plumber, you know, you have a job for life. And that was that instant happening somewhere else, separate away from my apprenticeship. I had left, this is like 3 years later, so I'd met someone else and he told me he'd worked there 40 years. And I'm like, bro, like, you've had a job for life here. So it's done you and it's served you very well, which I would want for myself, but could I be so patient and wait the time he was waiting? I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. And that leads people to think that like they're disheartened about work, or they look at the 9 to 5 thing and say, nah, I'm not cracked out to do it all, man. It's a bit too much for me. And I personally, I can understand it, but I've got more sense and I know that it's a means to a way. Because if it doesn't work out, you getting some, I don't know, deal or something happening in your life, you win the lottery, when's it ever going to come through for you? And in your head, you're probably telling yourself that, yeah, I want to bide myself some time, give myself some time till I get to that point. But when is it going to happen? That's the whole point. You don't know when it's going to happen. So maybe myself, yeah, I never had this young person's, this other man's mindset. But I'm glad he said it. Because there'll be loads of us thinking the same thing. We'll be thinking that, I don't want to go to this job, man. This job's shit. There's no prospects in it. There's nothing happening here. I'm not getting better at what I'm doing, earning more money. I'm not in the position where I want to be in life. I'm still stuck getting on the bus, listening to listening to fucking Max B on the way to work, or listening to Gaza talking about you as gully side on the way to work. When you know you've got to deal with the general public, you should turn that stuff off, man. It's getting you in the wrong vibes for work. Do you get it? Just listen to some smooth radio. No, but seriously, people, it's a thought what went through my mind, and I had to say to myself, I've got to make a video on this, because a lot of people who are my age, like later part of the 30s, yeah, you have seen an era and a time of people blow up on deals and get brand deals, collaborations, sponsorships, so much money that they're living nice. And you say, why me? Why the fuck is it not me? And sometimes it's being in the right place at the right time. Some people started stuff in positions where they're able to do that now. They've created a lifestyle for themselves, and they've took risks which others weren't prepared to do, which might have been putting yourself out there, you feeling vulnerable, you coming back from your 9 to 5 saying, I need a 5 to 9. That's one-on-one plug talk there. So I'll say it again one more time, just in case it went over your little head. Your 9 to 5 will pay for your life, yeah? But your 5 to 9 will make you alright in life. And that's like you putting that extra bit in for yourself and for what if money, and if it does fuck up, this is what I'm gonna hold it down with. Do you get it? And I'm from, like I said, I'm 80s baby. I'm from that hustling era. I grew up on things like Paid in Full. I grew up on things like Shotters. These are my favourite movies. You know, man, get the money fast, quick. And it just makes you think that, obviously it's a story, but you understand that that's not how life goes, isn't it? Life is a lot more serious than that. And who wants to be putting themselves at any risk? It's just a movie, yeah? Don't let it try and spill into your real life, because we all know how that ends up. But I feel people's frustration with wanting more and only receiving a certain amount. It can be disheartening, because I'm just turning the mic up a little bit. It could be disheartening for people, yeah? Because I think a lot of us understand that everything's possible in this lifetime, innit? But if you didn't put a certain level of work in, yeah, it's just not going to happen for you like that. If you don't have the ability to believe in yourself, there's going to be times when you doubt yourself, innit? See myself, yeah? Like, I can put everything what I've done into ChatGPT, yeah? As like a plumber, as a business owner, as someone who has learnt my craft, and it will tell me you're in a great position, right? But on the flip side, I will say that I second guess myself at times, because I question myself and ask, do I really want to be doing what I'm doing? Am I really happy? And I know that you get into adult life and you realise it's not about being happy all the time. It's being content and being comfortable. Yeah? Because comfort is very different, because you can bear it as an adult. you've got a little bit of compromise, which is work. Like, I've just seen these characters at work in the past, and I've realised I need to get far away as I can from these types of people, or stick by them and learn something from them. But ideally, I wanted to give myself a chance in life. That's the whole point. Giving myself a chance was me making my own business, trying to do something for myself, and not saying that, oh, I could have been this, I should have tried, you know, just because I've got these skills, I should have done this, but I didn't. And me personally, I just never want to live my life in the mode or the point where you get to and you say you're not able to do certain things, but I could have done this, I could have done that, and then I think you end up being quite a resentful person towards others, and you end up being like a bit salty, you know, like some dried peanuts. And no one wants to be like that as an old man, because nobody wants to be around you if you behave like that, obviously. So I'm trying to explore the opportunities, what I can do, while doing it in a timely fashion and not having a negative outlook on my experiences. You get? Like, I speak about my experiences a few times online, where I tell people the reality, what has happened to me on a job, and why I didn't like it, or why the situation wasn't good for myself. Thank you, bro, for rating the setup. Very impressive setup. Thank you, man. Big up Don in the chat. So, I've come a long way, people, from the way I used to think to even understanding others and not critiquing them, because at a point in life, everybody goes through a phase, yeah? I went through a phase where I wasn't interested in work. I went through a phase where I would be making more money than people was making at work anyway. Do you get it? So my interest is not work at certain points, but I'm glad I've had a full 360, realised that there's a part of me what enjoys working for my money, and there's a part of me what enjoys even more building for my future and building on my experiences as well, you know, because I'll be 100% transparent with my channel. There's no other way for me to be. You know, some people might tell you they're doing this in life and they're doing that. Cool. Kudos to you. I'm not a person that's trying to downplay anybody's thing. You know, I listen to others. I take it in. I don't always have to agree, because I'm not a yes man. That's never been my thing. If you feel some way about something, like work and having a job is the be in the end, or if you feel it's your bread and butter, I feel it's like my bread and butter. I do feel it's like the be in the end at some points, because I would rather take a job than not have a job, obviously. I've got bills to pay like anybody else, and having a stable income allows you to do certain things in life. Luxuries sometimes, necessities another time, and your future possibly. That's how I look at work, people. But I get what this person's saying. I totally get what they're saying when someone says to you, you know, work And life has started to change when we started to see people who were getting somewhere from their dreams or getting paid big money for the things what they like doing. You know, you can look at a football player and say they like playing football and they get paid big dough. But it doesn't last forever. And I think it's like 60% of footballers after retiring become broke. Which is damaging. But obviously you got a lot of dough skis going on in your life. You know, you got money coming in and out of your ears and stuff. So you want to keep track on it. You got to be a bit of a tighty. But that's each and every. But I hope people are starting to enjoy the lives, because I'm trying to do a little bit more lives with my subjects, what I like to talk about. You know me, I like to come on, talk to you guys and share my experiences. So today we really just reviewed this clip and we just had a conversation about it, because I would like to know what other people feel about it. Because me, myself, I feel that working is a necessity for most of us. I think a certain level of routine keeps you grounded in life. But I do understand that it is a bit insane to see others surpass you from one simple thing, one simple move. But it reminds me that a guy I met a long time ago, he was a barrister, yeah? And we was talking. And he goes, "Oh, you're really smart. You're a really smart gentleman. You know, you should start playing chess." And I said, "Chess? What for?" And he goes, "So you can work out all your next moves, because you'll be able to get it done." I said, "What?" That's them moments when someone says something to you, what makes you come away from it and you say, I'm going to take that and I'm going to run with it. And you have to learn something from these wisdom moments when people talk to you, even when they come across you for like 5-10 minutes. It's energy, but it's also sense. And I did start playing chess. So you better start subscribing. You know the vibe, man. Like when I get into my mode, when I'm on it with my social, and it's problems. It's problems for the whole of the net. It's problems. But I do think a lot of the time work tends to be a mindset thing. But it's your time, what you put in. And I'm kind of the same person where I would always put the time in and the effort in if it was worth it with work. That's the truth, you know. I understand. I've been able to save. I've been able to have certain things through working. So I can't look at working and look at it in a bad light. At the end of the day, I can see why some people are frustrated with it, but frustration, it's a normal thing, man. We all go through it, man. But I feel that this person, he made some really good points, but I want to know what you think. So we'll ask you to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel, people, because we are at 4,000 subscribers today. Thank you all for following the account. I'll be doing a comment video very soon where I record a video and I'm gonna reply to a lot of people's comments because there has been so many. Thank you again. Have a great day. And drop your thoughts on this one, man. Want to know what's going on. What do you lot think?